I got a report entitled Urgent Report, came across the computer screen, and I clicked on it and opened it up. And there was a report from, I think, the acting United States Attorney in Oklahoma, saying that there had been an explosion.
The chaos in downtown Oklahoma City did indeed resemble Beirut after what police believe to be a 1,200-pound car bomb ripped through the 9-story federal building.
In April of 1995, Merrick Garland was a top Justice Department official and was in his office at the Justice Department when the bombing happened.
First time you see the building and you see it not just on paper described and not just on CNN, but in front of you, it's just the enormity of what happened.
500 people were already in their offices, and at least 50 children were in a daycare center on the second floor.
The first thing people pointed out was this is where the America's Kids Child Care Center had been. There was nothing there.
He knew that they needed to use the law as it is to counter domestic terrorism and had to be meticulous about how they went about this, that they would be under a lot of scrutiny. Garland wanted to make sure that everything was done by the book because he knew there were conspiracy theories out there and that this would be challenged in court by defense attorneys for Timothy McVeigh.
Among rescue workers digging a massive crime scene for signs of life, the Harvard graduate took command of an enormous investigation.
There were witnesses who could tie him to the Mercury and tie him to the Ryder truck.
So he wanted to make sure it was really a meticulous investigation and made clear what this crime was. And he listed this case and also the Unabomber case involving Ted Kaczynski as really the two most important cases of his career that affected him in a deeply personal and professional way. That carries through to today as we're seeing this rise in white supremacists and other anti-government conspiracy groups, that those are the lessons that he'll carry with him.
These principles, ensuring the rule of law and making the promise of equal justice under law real, are the great principles upon which the Department of Justice was founded and for which it must always stand. They echo today in the priorities that lie before us, from ensuring racial equity in our justice system to meeting the evolving threat of violent extremism.
Judge Garland, as Attorney General, will face major questions about policies, about how to combat the rise in domestic terrorism. He'll face questions about whether or not to investigate and prosecute former President Trump in connection to the January 6th attacks. So Garland most recently has spent more than 20 years as a judge on the very influential Federal Appeals Court in Washington and was also the chief judge. And he's really known on the court as a unifying, moderating force. And I think all of that will affect how he leads the Justice Department.
A colleague told the Washington Post that Garland carried around a paperback version of the federal rules of criminal procedure.
And I wanted to be sure it was done right. Not that I didn't think anybody else could do it right, but by that time I'd had a lot of knowledge about early elements of the investigation. And you go into public service to serve, and this was the best chance I'd ever had.